afternoon in the Silvius household. There was no one but my two sisters and I. Tiffany stretched out on the sofa watching the television, Johanna and I standing a few feet away. She must have seen the pregnancy test in the trash because suddenly Johanna asked, "Tiffany, are you pregnant?" This silence was affirmation. It wasn't that Tiffany wasn't excited about having a baby, it was the shame and guilt that came with admitting it to a family who had invested so much time and effort into a Christian upbringing. She planned to tell my father that night. My parents made sure we grew up with a strong religious background. When I was in elementary school, I could always count on eating with my family on Sunday afternoons because every Sunday morning, my father would drag us to church. And we would get back and help my mom and dad prepare lunch in the kitchen, and we would all sit down at the dinner table. Richie would sit on my right. Tiffany would be on my left, Mom here, Johanna there, and my father at the head of the table. Richie makes a comment about how Johanna eats like a slob. This is considered a Johanna thing. And if you point out too many Johanna things, that's considered Johanna bashing. And as my mom would say, no Johanna bashing at the table. Mom talks about the Donahues and the Postumas and the McCurleys, all families we went to church with. My brother makes a comment to me. You need to eat the skinnier baked potato if you want to grow hair on your chest. I don't want to grow any hair on my chest. It was partially for this reason that I sat in front of an unfinished plate hour after everyone else had left the table. I was in college 2 years ago. We're sitting at the dinner table, my two sisters, my father, and I. My brother and my mom have moved out. The storytelling, the laughing, and even the teasing has left with them. Now we mostly eat in silence. Tiffany plays with her fork. I'm pregnant. We all wait for my dad's reaction. Tiffany stares at him across the table. You're not even supposed to be having sex. He was shocked. How could any one of his daughters have had sex out of wedlock? But after a couple of weeks, he accepted it and eventually forgave her. Perhaps the more daunting task at hand was telling my equally conservative and religious grandparents. I could picture Tiffany sitting in their living room, the area rug before them looking like it had come out of a 1970s home decor magazine, their Peruvian furniture and paintings, the large golden tray on the wall, the smell of mothballs, and the scratchy fabric of the couch, as Tiffany sat in silence looking at their stone faces. She had waited a whole another month to tell them, and I didn't judge her for it. And when she came back, she was silent. And I knew it hadn't gone well. They had shunned Tiffany and her unborn child. It was as though they didn't even want baby Isabella Robert to come into the world. A month ago, Tiffany married her long-term boyfriend and father of her child, Andrew Jean-Pierre. Out of the 80 invited to the wedding, there were 18 in attendance, including my immediate family and one aunt and uncle. On the groom's side, even Aunt Nani, who had traveled all the way from the south of France to the United States for the very first time to see this very ceremony. Even she was in attendance. And as the sun set behind the church courtyard, the dance floor darkened and the lights began to flash, camouflaging our numbers, and I began to dance. And my sisters were dancing, and my my brother and his wife were dancing, and my mom was dancing. And as Michael Jackson's Thriller began to play, we even dragged my father onto the dance floor. And for a moment, we were sitting at the dinner table, laughing and making fun of one another. But there's something about being the youngest. You get to watch everybody else go through the hard parts first. But as spoiled as the youngest might be, or as much attention as I may have gotten, she's always the last one at the dinner table after everyone.